There's $6 trillion in money markets sitting out there. $6 trillion.
That's crazy.
I mean, could we have 20% of that goes into Bitcoin? Sure. Why not? Without even a drop that comes from real estate or the QQQs or anything else, right? And this doesn't even include any future growth of the money supply.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm just saying, like, I cut down every single thing by 5x, and I'm still getting that this thing's going to north of 1 million very, very easily, right? And so I think this stuff's happening. This is the mega trend. You don't need to be too clever when you have one of these mega trends. You just need to get on board.
Fred Krueger begins by exploring the future potential of Bitcoin, focusing on its trajectory over the coming years. He highlights the significant role of institutional capital, emphasizing how massive inflows could trigger exponential growth. Krueger makes a stunning comparison between the present market value of Bitcoin, which is approximately $1 trillion, and a speculative scenario in which it soars to $41 trillion, a startling 40x rise. He projects that Bitcoin's value might reach an incredible $2 million per coin, explaining the multiplier effect driven by tremendous demand and the cryptocurrency's limited supply. He breaks down this mathematical projection's simplicity and indisputable power. Before we dive deeper, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you won't miss any updates. Feel free to share your thoughts and insights in the comments below. Thanks for watching and enjoy the video.
Well, that's a 10x in terms of money invested into this thing, right? That's $1 trillion, And if we throw $1 trillion in with the kind of multipliers that we've been seeing, and we can go into the reasons why they have these multipliers, but they're roughly around 40, it's not 1 for 1, it's 40 to 1, right? Yeah. That means that Bitcoin price is going to go up 40x, roughly, right? We're going to go from 1 trillion to 41 trillion in terms of market cap, which is to say about $2 million per Bitcoin. So you can see that the sheer math is just amazing, right? And what did I not include in that? The rest of the world, right? I didn't include China. I didn't include Europe. I didn't include any of that. I didn't include real estate. I didn't, so the numbers are just so big. The amount of cash, the amount of assets that are in TradFi are so big. And I think people in Bitcoin fail to see this. They're not used to these numbers. They haven't really analyzed these numbers. But, having worked in TradFi and having kind of watched this thing grow like a mushroom, right, over the last 30 years, right, I can tell you that it is, there's a tsunami of cash, a tsunami of money that will want to get into this asset, right? And, it's the only thing that's preventing it is sort of the sort of molasses-like behavior of these investors, right? They are slow to adapt to new things. They are literally like the people who said the horse and buggy are here to stay. Like that's it. The car, it goes too fast. It's like, why would I want one of those? I need to fill it up with gas. No, not interested. And so I think we're in this era where we are going to see a changing of the guard in the next couple of decades, where this 60-40 portfolio that has been deified by, academics, some of which I've met, right? Some of these academics, Nobel Prize winning academics. And this is going to be turned on its head. It's going to be turned on its head by this new asset class called Bitcoin. So I think, I just think that the big story here is asset allocation and just the size of the flows that we're looking at here. I think it's just amazing. And I think Bitcoiners they don't understand how big it is. They really don't. They just, and it's, to give you another example, there's $6 trillion in money markets sitting out there. $6 trillion.
That's crazy.
I mean, could we have 20% of that goes into Bitcoin? Sure. Why not? Without even a drop that comes from real estate or the QQQs or anything else, right? And this doesn't even include any future growth of the money supply.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm just saying, I cut down every single thing by 5x, and I'm still getting that this thing's going to north of 1 million very, very easily, right? And so I think this stuff's happening. This is the mega trend, and you don't need to be too clever when you have one of these mega trends. You just need to get on board, and that's I think the message. Don't try to say, is it going to get to 70K or 80K tomorrow or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. We're going to a 7-figure Bitcoin price. That's what's happening. And now either you can kind of mentally get on board with that number. And if you do, you shouldn't have a 1% allocation to Bitcoin or 2% or even a 10%. Those numbers are too low. Fortunately, I'm fortunate that I kind of discovered this, roughly, 5 years ago. But it wasn't like my first introduction to Bitcoin. But I finally got the religion 5 years ago. But even if you get the religion today, it's like we're still very early in this process. So people are going to look back and they're going to be like, "How the hell did you get in Bitcoin in 2024?" It's like, what a genius you were to buy at 72,000.
Fred Krueger's main point is very clear. Bitcoin is a necessary component of a modern investing portfolio, not just a speculative asset. He contends that considering Bitcoin's enormous potential, investing just 1% or 2% in it is insufficient. Rather, Krueger advises investors to view Bitcoin as a core holding that has the potential to greatly outperform conventional assets in the long run. Given that Bitcoin has the potential to achieve 7-figure valuations, Krueger reassures those who are new to the cryptocurrency that we are still in the early stages of this trend, and that it may be wise to enter the market at present levels. Based on his personal experiences, Krueger highlights the significance of comprehending Bitcoin's long-term worth and maintaining focus on the wider picture rather than becoming sidetracked by temporary price swings. Before we dive back into Krueger's insights, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you won't miss future content on cryptocurrencies. Now let's get back to the interview.
It gets closed by Bitcoin outperforming all other assets. That's it. The only thing that TradFi people are going to look at is price. And look, TradFi people don't understand Bitcoin, but they don't understand what AI is either. Do TradFi people understand NVIDIA? No. They have no idea what those chips do, right? They just no idea, right? They just know that they somehow power ChatGPT, which is magic. That's it. Yeah. Right. That's it. And I think that most TradFi people are never going to do the work to even understand even the basics of Bitcoin. Unfortunately. Now I'm still kind of pushing them to do it. I try to get. I view it as part of my mission in life is to educate people a little bit as to what the hell this thing is and why it's so different. It's kind of a hopeless thing. I think most people are not going to dig in the weeds enough. They're just like, okay, it's this thing. It goes up. That's it. I gotta own some. But that's dangerous because the problem with that is if you're at that level of understanding of Bitcoin, when it goes down 30%, you panic and you sell. Mm-hmm. Right. So, I think the big advantage of understanding Bitcoin is it will give you the certainty to kind of hodl through a bear market. Bitcoin really appeals to me on a mathematical level. As I dove into it, I really feel like it's kind of what they call a canonical solution in math. You know what I mean? It's a canonical form of, you really can't solve this problem any other way than Bitcoin. Now, you could make the halvenings every 8 years. You could make, the number of Bitcoins 100 million. You could do a lot of things, right? Yeah. But ultimately, this is the solution to this problem, And I think it was, it's a long, twisted route, and some people had some of the elements. Nick Szabo had some of the elements. Al Finney had some of the elements. Wei Dai had some of the elements, right? Yeah. David Chong had some of the elements, right? But all these things kind of came into place in 2008, and then it was sort of eureka, eureka, this is it. We got the solution. Bam, So I definitely feel like this is a mathematical solution, to a problem, something like Fermat's last theorem, you could state the problem. This is the solution. There is no other solution, and it's going to go down as one of the great solutions of all times, really, I think. So Chom was the first, and Chom showed me his thesis, and he's like, look, I invented blockchain. And I'm like, yeah, not quite. Because he said you did have a chain of blocks, and we looked it up on his thesis, but it said you didn't have, there was no, these were not proof of work transactions. He goes, I missed proof of work. And I go, yeah. And actually, it was another mathematician friend of mine who really came up with proof of work. It was this woman, Cynthia Dwork. And we knew each other in my second startup. My co-founder was her husband. And so Cynthia was a researcher at IBM Research San Jose. And, and I, at that point I was, already in tech, and she was showing me this proof of work idea that she came up with 3 years earlier. And she's like, I got this thing for spam email called proof of work. And and I was like, yeah, it's probably not going to go anywhere, Cynthia. Like that idea is, I can't really see that work. And, ultimately that idea was sort of rediscovered by Adam Back later.
Okay.
And that became in Back's version became the fundamental version that was used in Bitcoin.
In his concluding remarks, Fred Krueger highlights how many traditional finance trophy people are unaware of Bitcoin's unambiguous potential to outperform all other assets. He contrasts this with their cursory awareness of artificial intelligence, AI, and technology such as NVIDIA's chips, which they admit have an influence but do not fully comprehend. According to Krueger, investors who lack a thorough understanding of Bitcoin's fundamentals may become irrationally agitated and sell when they see price fluctuations. According to Krueger, his goal is to inform people about the special qualities of Bitcoin, highlighting its durability and mathematical foundations. Bitcoin is a canonical solution, an advanced, nearly unavoidable answer to the challenge of developing a decentralized. He highlights how several pioneers helped create Bitcoin, which resulted in a game-changing solution in 2008, drawing on historical trends. His parting message is both cautionary and uplifting. Having a thorough understanding of Bitcoin will give you the conviction to stick with it during market downturns. According to Krueger, Bitcoin is a breakthrough as important as any key mathematical theorem, and one of the great, timeless answers. Investors may appreciate Bitcoin's long-term transformational potential and stay clear of the traps of short-term thinking by being aware of this. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Hit the like button if you found this video valuable. Thanks for watching.